Hey, welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today we are coming to you with a guest from Adelaide, sunny Adelaide. It's been a little while since we've been down there. And this gentleman, funny story, I actually know of my partner, the lovely Theo, who edits our podcast. He's got a little bit of a gi addiction and he likes to buy gis secondhand. He bought several gis off today's guest, and he is a black belt out of Integrity MMA, Integrity Jiu-Jitsu. He is Dom Liddle. Thanks for joining us, Dom.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Welcome. So you don't look as big as Theo, man. I don't understand. Have you lost weight or what?
I've lost a few kilos.
It's so good.
Listeners that don't know, my partner's an A4 gi. So what size are you in now, Dom?
I'm an A4 in Army, A3 in Shore Roll.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Not the Shore Roll makes actually getting quite small for me. That's why I prefer Tatami now.
Wow.
Cool.
Show rolls are pretty flashy gis there. Yeah, I don't think you sold Theo any of those. You're hanging on to those ones, yeah?
Yeah. I've actually got one for sale at the moment.
That's an interesting topic, actually. Okay, I'm keen to explore this a little bit further because, like, to me, I buy a gi and then I wear it until like people are like, Anton, will you please just get another gi? Because it's like gross now. There's like holes everywhere. Like the concept of selling a gi never occurs to me. You know, it's like how is it that you sell not just a gi because maybe it wasn't the right fit or something. Sell a lot of gis. Like, how does that happen?
So basically, over time, with all teaching and that, I teach about 5 kids classes a week and about 5 adults plus about 7 privates. If you wear just 1 or 2 gis, they eventually just fall apart. They smell.
Yeah.
So I like a rotational thing. Got to be hygienic. But there were some I just tried out for different fits, and some of them just weren't for me.
Right.
Some of them were too baggy, and it made me look like I was pregnant, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you found the best fitting gi for you yet? Because I know that's always a bit of a challenge, like the certain brand or Tatami.
Tatami are my go-to. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I love them. They're awesome.
But okay, if you're a bit of a gi connoisseur, a Tatami gis, because they do a lot of experimenting. Like I've worked, you know, with Tatami over the years for various sponsorship things and whatever else. But it seems like they kind of custom do ranges. Do all A4 Tatami gis fit you, or is it like, oh no, this Tatami doesn't fit me? And you know, is it like that, or is it just all?
They're actually all pretty good.
Okay.
There's a couple of cuts where the sleeves are a little bit shorter, and it feels like, I don't know, it's starting to go towards a karate outfit.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time they're perfect.
Yeah, interesting.
And the price and quality is there.
No, it is. They are the OGs of gis. There's no doubt.
They are.
I mean, Tatami translates to the mats anyway, doesn't it? Pretty much, it's like they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Part and parcel of the mats. Awesome.
So, do you mainly train gi, Dom, or do you sort of mix it up with no gi as well?
We try and do about half no gi, but we just over here, like it's getting bigger and busier, like no gi. But we only do like 1 class. And open that we allow no gi stuff. But everyone just goes to gi for some reason.
If it's getting bigger, why do you not do that many no gi classes?
Everyone just seems to like the gi.
Okay. So it's getting bigger, but it's not big enough yet to justify.
Like especially for my club, like a lot of them are sort of older guys. They want to come in and chill, more control with the gi. They don't want to wrestle and throw each other around too much. They want to look after each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's no doubt, like it does slow it down a lot. But I've got to say, I've been training a lot more no gi this year. I got injured at the end of last year, and I couldn't train in the gi, and it's been pleasantly surprising that it's actually not as hard on the body. Well, I think anyway, without the grips and just without all the tension. So sometimes I actually think getting older, no gi might be the way to go for people that are like wanting to. It depends. You still got to pick your partners, but in some ways it's not as taxing on you as the gi with all the grips and all of that. That's my 2 cents.
And as it gets warmer over here, if it's really hot, we tend to do like a no gi anyway. Summer and that.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes when I when I'm teaching my community class, some of the students, they're not used to doing jiu-jitsu, and they're like, can I train without my gi top on? And I'm always like, no, you can't. You have to wear your gi. But that's a good point.
Yep.
Maybe I could be more compassionate and be a bit responsive, not be so stubborn and old school. Maybe I can, like, yeah, let's go half today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dom, tell us how you discovered jiu-jitsu. How did it come about for you?
Yeah, so I've been doing martial arts pretty much all my life, and I started off with all the Chinese stuff. This is back when I was in I'd say year 10.
Like Kung Fu.
I'm 45 now, so I'm quite old. Getting there.
Still younger than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a baby, Dom.
That makes me feel better now. And I started doing all the Chinese stuff. And then I came down, I moved, so I was from the country, I came down to Adelaide. And I wanted to do some kickboxing, boxing stuff, in that. I did that for quite a few years and went back to the Chinese stuff. And I wanted to transition to MMA. And MMA actually wasn't legal in SA at the time.
Right.
And at first I thought, you know what, I'll go do some of this groundwork, if you think about it, to help with my striking and this and that, and do some MMA. And I just started to do jiu-jitsu and I fell in love with it. That was about 2008 I started. Yeah.
Interesting.
I just found I loved it so much. I haven't stopped.
I've got it. Like I did a fair bit of like wushu, kung fu, different styles of a tai chi, Chen style tai chi. I did a bunch of things, right? And I remember just once I transitioned to, I'm going to call it martial arts that really like work in a fight situation, right? Which I would call like Muay Thai, BJJ. Like some of my friends are still into, other forms of martial arts. And I lost a bit of compassion. Like I became a bit like, I'm not happy about the way that I spoke to them actually, because what I've discovered like later on in life is people do martial arts for different reasons. And you don't necessarily just do a martial art because it has to work. Some people don't care if it works or not. They want to be part of the community and they prefer this form over that form. And who am I to say, well, it has to work if you're going to do a martial art. So do you have the same discovery, or am I alone with this, or what are your views?
No, I agree with you from that.
Right.
I originally started too, and I fell in love with martial arts because it was more, I was being bullied. I wanted something to sort of look after myself. I also like the fact that it challenged you as a person, your personality. So it made discipline. It caused you to just take a different aspect on life and hopefully improve yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For sure. And having a bit of a quick stalk of your Facebook page, we've got something else in common, Dom. That you got engaged about a year ago.
I did.
I'm also engaged, although by the time this episode comes out, I might actually already be married. Have you set a date yet for your big day?
No, I haven't yet.
Maybe
she's gonna hear this. She's gonna be like, "I told you, you better marry me." The funny truth is, I'm separated from my last partner, and I've still got to get a divorce from her.
Oh, so you've got to wait for that.
Yeah, but it's the ongoing joke. My now partner Bo, she keeps hassling me. I can get divorced and get married. And I'm like, it's all right. It's like jiu-jitsu. It takes ages to get the black belt.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. Actually, it's like it's challenging to sign those divorce papers. It's like it's a lot of people do that.
That's a cop out. I know. I was hassling Theo from the start. He got it done. So yeah, we're getting married in a couple of weeks. Or like I said, this could be out by the time it happens.
That's awesome.
So So you've got a couple of kids. Is it like a blended family, or is that with your new partner?
Those two kids are from my previous partner.
Yep.
Yeah, a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Do they do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
they do. It's a massive part of their lives.
Yeah, wow, good.
And
you're their coach as well?
Yes.
How does that go, being their dad and their coach?
You know what? I've got to say, they, especially my oldest one, they are such good students. They understand when you come onto the mats, I'm still your dad, but I'm your coach. And they don't try and pull any of like, it's right, I'm tired, and try and get away with stuff. They're probably the best students out of a lot of them.
Wow.
They always respect that. They're amazing kids, actually. I'm biased in that.
Yeah. How did you get them into jiu-jitsu? Like, I'm fascinated. Like, I've had two children who have dabbled with jiu-jitsu. One went a long way, but then quit. now does a bit of MMA, but it's just not for, ultimately it's not for him, but I can't help but feel like I'm part of the reason why it's not. You know what I mean? Like either because I do it and I love it so much, or maybe I pushed him or whatever. But what worked for you in having children that are engaged and loving jiu-jitsu?
So my eldest Charlize, she probably started when she was about 5 or 6 years old, and would just play with stuff, and she seemed to show an interest. And then at her school, I did a rewards class at the end of each week, and she would help me out with that. And I said to her, "Are you sure you wanted to help me out with this class? There's other classes you can do. You can go do some painting or that." And she goes, "No, Dad, I want to help you. I love jiu-jitsu." And it's been like that ever since.
Wow.
Now I have gone through a stage where you're like, push me a little bit more, and I've pushed her a little bit too much, and then I've realized that and I've apologized.
Right.
I said, "Look, you're into jiu-jitsu, I'll leave you and let you."
Amazing.
Still going strong today.
Love it.
Wow.
Cleaning
the
up,
other one, the younger one,
when you push too far. Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
It is that fine balance, and I've heard that from a few people. Yeah.
What were we going to say about the younger one?
She took a while to come into it, so she came into it about, I'd say, 7 or 8, and then she's different personality, different athleticism, and she's like, "I want to do comp stat, I want to do this," and she's competed and stuff like that. Yeah, they still love it. Like I'll pick them up today, and they'll do 3 kid classes. Then the youngest will rest. Charlize will do might help me with a private, and then to do the adult class tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're making an army of killers, bro. That's what you're doing.
And your partner trains as well?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a purple belt.
Jiu-jitsu family then.
Yeah.
It is. It's hilarious.
Did you guys meet on the mats? Is that how it happened?
Yeah, we did actually.
Oh, Anton loves this stuff.
Man. Yeah. Tell us the story. How did you meet?
Actually. So when I opened up my club, there wasn't many girls in Adelaide training. And it was all more boys. And I had a group of bigger boys, and some of them were sort of more egotistical, blah, blah, blah. But they're all like over 100 kilos. They're all big unit. And she contacted me, and she wanted to try jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, all right, cool. It's exciting. You've got a girl coming in. So the guys, just be on your best behavior, okay? just look after her. She's a small girl, blah, blah, blah. So she came in, and it was her thing. Like, it was like a fish to water for her. She stirred the pot with some of the guys. Some of the guys were quite opinionated, and she'd put them back in their place, and they didn't like it. And I thought that was actually funny, and it was good. I thought, this is what the club needs. Sort of like a firecracker up everyone's butt type thing.
Yeah.
And when she got the blue belt, we started to have this connection for a while there. And we'd always be, if we could actually record our interactions back in the day, people would look and go, "Used to just get married." It's always like, I was giving her shit, she was giving me shit, sometimes end in tears, and she'd get really frustrated. It's like, "What's wrong with this guy?" type thing. But I keep my distance.
Yeah.
And when we went over to Carlos's in Melbourne, one of the black belts, or a couple of them, said, "What's the deal with you and Dom?" He's like, "I don't know. What are you talking about?" She goes, what's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, he doesn't really like me, blah, blah, blah." And then she goes, "I think I'm in love with him."
Oh, wow.
Well,
you found out she was in love with you through someone else. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, like, we still kept that distance. We interacted and stuff, but I didn't really socialize with her over the years. You could see, like, obviously the connection grew stronger, and she was obviously always there for me. Like, when I went through my divorce and hard times, she was always helping out with the club. And even now, she helps out so much. And then she'd sit back, she'd have her boyfriends, I'd have my girlfriends, and she'd just laugh at me. She'd like, "Didn't work out, did it?" Thing. It didn't work out because it was me. That's what she said at the end.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I finally just said, "You know what? I think let's go out." And it's just like the perfect fit.
Wow.
Oh, good. That's nice. I hear that story sometimes about, it's almost like you were friends before you had a relationship, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
That makes me real happy. I love it.
Another thing on your page, another thing that I think we have in common is that you're a staffy lover. So you got a staffy?
Yes, she's floating around at the moment.
Kim's got
How
a
old?
couple of staffies floating around at the same
About,
time.
about 7 years.
Okay.
And her name is, ready for this? Kimura.
We have a friend in the club whose dog is named
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got one?
Fact, I
I've
found
got two. I've got two
Googled-
staffies.
Yeah,
They're 11 and 2. So
Oh,
one at
beautiful.
one end of the spectrum and one at the other. 2 boys.
Yep.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very boisterous as they generally are, staffies. But yeah, they're the best. A lot of our listeners and jiu-jitsu people have staffies, I think. It's sort of the breed for the jiu-jitsu community, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
funny, like the
Kimura.
more you see
Yeah.
them time.
And a lot of them are named Kimura, right? And actually, Kim, while you're getting your name changed in this whole wedding thing, why don't you actually get your name changed to Kimura? It makes sense.
That's right. Change the surname and the first name. Why
Yeah,
not?
just do it. Like, let's go.
Now, my partner's got 2 dogs. She's got a little fox terrier and this other staffy cross. We recently got another little staffy, and we're slowly introducing her over. And her name is Ashy.
Oh, wow.
So good. Finally, on the Kimura thing, actually, I was Googling world's oldest person the other day, and I think the world's oldest person's name is Kimura as well. So,
oh, really?
There you go.
Hopefully she'll have a good long life then.
Yeah.
It's a good
moment. Yeah, awesome. And I see you've got some boards. You've got some boards in the background there, brother. What are those boards?
Yeah, you can see.
Are they snowboards?
They're the skateboards.
Skateboards. All right.
So I do collect some skateboards, especially the old school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I used to skate. I still roll around here and there too.
Yep. Okay. Nice.
Any injuries or anything from either that or from jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, always the little ones. My knees are pretty banged up at the moment. One does sort of need an op, but I'm sort of holding on that.
Mm-hmm.
But from skating, I was pretty good. When I took a lot of slams when I was young, I was fine. I healed a bit. But it's just, I think more the mood types be like all knees, ankles, everything.
Yeah. Man, I've gotten right into the electric skateboarding nowadays. Have you played around with electric skateboards? They're amazing. They changed my whole life. That's how I get to the gym. Every day I go to the gym on an electric skateboard, and I feel like I'm skateboarding through the streets to get to the gym. And it's like the gym is a pleasurable place to be at, and the journey to and from the gym is a pleasurable action. It's like right in the middle of every day. Awesome. It's like, wow, I live the best life. I can't help but love life when I'm on a board or in the gym.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
And Dom, did I hear you say earlier that you came to Melbourne to see Carlos? So you under Theo Potgieter? Is that your?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've been
have you always
him.
been there?
No, I started off at ISA Health in Adelaide, and got to my purple belt. I was there for 2008, 2012. In 2012, I wanted to start my own thing. I didn't want to do anything else in Adelaide for anyone else, and I ended up Carlos.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I'd go and travel quite a bit in the first 3 years. About every month, I'd come over and train with him and travel, and come back and set up the club.
What was your journey to black belt like? Like Kim and I always like to ask, how did you discover jiu-jitsu? But after you tell us how you discovered jiu-jitsu, tell us about the length and like the journey to black belt. To black belt, if you could, please.
Okay. So I got when I started with Carlos in 2012, that was pretty much my proper journey. Like I'd go over and train with him every couple of months, and people would like, "You go to Melbourne for a holiday?" And I'm like, "It's not a holiday." So I'd rock up, get straight off the plane, the airport, and then go straight into him. I'd do a class, do a private, go and check into the hotel, and go back and do a night class.
Wow.
And then I was just trashed, and that was like 5 days in a row. I'd get up in the morning to the early class, and your body would just be so banged up. Oh my God, how late I'd be like, I'd teach class, but I wouldn't really roll or do anything like that. In between, I'd try and compete as much as I could. Obviously, masters, old generation. Depends how my body held up. Conditioning, training weights, training cardio, that sort of thing. But yeah, and then it's a long road and it's hard at times. And there's times that you just get home after teaching classes and done a couple of privates, done a couple. and your body's just, especially after 30, it's just numb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you made that decision, Dom, did you give up your day job to run your academy, or were you doing both for a little while? Or
I basically doing both. I'm still doing both. Still, I'm a PT by career. So even now, it is hard at times. I'll go really early in the morning and train people from 6 to 10. Go home, have a nap, do what I need to do a bit of training myself, then go and start from 4 till 9 at night.
Mm.
Wow. And how did you discover jiu-jitsu? Like, you've talked about purple belt onwards, but like, what was your first class? Where, like, who introduced you to jiu-jitsu? I mean, you talked about the Chinese stuff beforehand.
Yep, absolutely.
But what was the actual, like, when did you say, oh, that's jiu-jitsu, I'm going to try that?
I started to do privates with the guy, and I reckon he wasn't do some grappling. And I did that for a little bit, but I weren't sold on it. It wasn't until I went to ISA and started training under Matt Jones, and he started to do classes. The whole wrestling, everything, I'm just like, wow, this is quite different from doing the privates. Then when he'd get a couple of the black belts who was under over, I was just mesmerized. I was like, that's how you move. That's how you. I did my first Pampax. Like, I was a white belt. I went over there, and coming from Adelaide, all a countryish town. You walk over into the aquatic centre in Melbourne, and there's like 6 to 8 mats set up, and there's people everywhere. People are warming up. I'm like, holy crap, this is serious stuff now.
Yeah. How old were you in that Pampax?
I must have been about 30.
Okay.
20 or 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when there's no uniform. There's a photo of me, and I'm wearing a muscle top and tap out shorts.
Wow.
That's my comp. Yeah.
There was no IBJJF rash guard rules.
Nothing like that. I remember seeing, like, in Adelaide, you did have 1 or 2 black belts, but you'd hardly see them compete. So when they'd have a comp in Adelaide, they'd be like, but you're like, oh, belt. Wow, that's a purple belt. It's like seeing pretty much Jesus for the first time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And do you still compete now, or not anymore?
I try to. Like, my goal was to actually come over for is it the Oz Cup in August?
The Nationals, yeah.
Nationals. But the girls in gi camp here.
Yeah.
And so my girls are going to go to that. My partner's going to go to that. I have to stay and look after the classes, so I won't get a chance.
Yeah, it's the same weekend. Yep.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I'm happy to wear that.
Yeah. But there's Pampax, I think, soon after that as well. That's an option
that'll
for
be
you
good.
too.
You have to wear a proper rash guard this time, though, brother. None of that. No tap out shorts either. I think it actually says no tap out shorts. Tap out brand is now banned.
We all make that mistake once.
We did. Had the tap out hat.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Awesome, man. Wow. Go on, Kim.
What's next for you, Dom? What's on the horizon then, if besides Pampax, like for your club or for your, obviously you've said it's going to be a while before you remarry because of your needing to get a divorce first, but
slowness of signed paperwork.
Yes.
We're just doing the club bigger. We've got a few more big ratings at the end of this year for some of my students. It'll be good. Kids classes at the moment for me are booming. And if I can keep growing them, because we get a lot of the kids who either have social issues, so they don't fit into for teams, or they're on the spectrum, or have got some sort of disability like that. And it's just getting more of those kids into jiu-jitsu.
Actually, that brings me to an interesting point, because I've heard people come on our show and talk about how hard it is to take kids classes. Like, it really is challenging. Like, and I've assisted in a lot of classes, kids classes. Yes, it's challenging. Obviously, it's very rewarding as well. But more and more people are being diagnosed with ADHD nowadays. Like, it seems like doctors are going to slap that on anyone that they can. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I don't know. I think labels can be useful, you know, because then I guess people can be treated. But also sometimes I feel like it gives people a cop out, or it's okay. I can be crazy because I've got ADHD. I can be disorganized because I've got ADHD. Whatever, right? So I'm confused about whether or not I think it's a good thing. But my point is, yeah, do you find that like you have to like having kids classes, especially in this world, this day and age, like disciplining kids gets more complicated because you can't offend them and you can't, their parents get involved. There's a lot. So like while you say you love the kids classes, you must find some challenges. And I'd love to know what they are.
You do have little challenges along the way, but I'm a natural with kids. And I've always been that way, like throughout all my years. I love the fact that parents bring their kids to learn martial arts, but you have to teach them that discipline. And you do it in a balanced environment. Like you were saying, like everyone's like, oh, ADHD, blah, blah, blah. And the parents like, that's all right, he can do what he wants. Not in my classes, you can't. So you set the standard for him. What will happen is some of the parents will be like, this is awesome. I'm going to give you my kid. You mold him how you want. Others are like, no, this isn't for me. They go off.
Right.
But some of the kids that I've got, like some of them were real rat bags at the start, and they're amazing now. Like they're respectful young men now.
Yes. Interesting.
So, Don, when you said it's not for me, do you mean the parents say that or the kids
Sometimes
say
the
that?
kids and the parents are like, okay, this isn't for you. Like the simple thing, like I get so many kids, they want to try out. And the first thing they have to do is when they walk on the mat, they bow and they come and shake my hand, they greet me. It's like walking to someone's house or a classroom. And some kids are like, no, I don't want to do it. Parents are like, he doesn't have to do that. And it's like, no. This is where it starts.
Yes.
You can't start. That's fine. You're not ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. Although I've faced something in my community class, it's in a predominantly like Muslim environment. And Muslim people will not bow to anybody except for God. So we can't bow. We have to do something different. But but I'm also with you that the discipline is like the parents' permission to give appropriate kind of structure and boundaries and discipline is so important to a running, functioning class. So, I mean, maybe it's the parents' fault when kids don't work in a gym. You know what I mean? More often than not.
Do you know what? A lot of it sadly is. You see them like kids are sitting on their screens doing stuff. The way they talk to their parents. Like I had one kid grab your feedback and take it off right on his parent, like because he'd finished class. I'm like, hey, come back. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You fold it up and you give it to your parent, your mum or dad. You don't throw them. It's about respect.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. That's brilliant.
I have heard a lot of teachers, especially today, say that it's actually almost more about managing the parents than managing the kids. Would you say that's the case for you a lot of the time?
Oh, absolutely. Like even when we're organising stuff for the kids, like whether it be a mid-year grading or any event, the amount of times you have to email the parent, the way the parent tries to deal with you, it's like, these are our rules. You either abide by them or you don't. It's about, you can't walk on the mat. You can't stay in here talking to your kid while they're training. You cannot give your kid food if they pop out to go to the toilet, stuff like that. And parents just think they do what they want at times. But in saying that, there's some great parents do.
It makes me like it's as much of an education for the parents as for the kids. It makes me feel like there should be an onboarding YouTube channel or video sequence, something to teach the parents so that they don't wreck it for their kids,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we had one kid that was coming into class and had toothpaste all over their gi.
Yeah.
And we're like, we got the parent and we said, your kid has toothpaste on their gi. Like, you cannot let them brush their teeth in the uniform. Like, you can respect them. You know what I mean? And they were in shock. They're like, oh, what do you mean?
Oh, man. That's quite amazing.
I don't get frustrated with kids, actually. I get more frustrated with some of the parents. That's truth.
Wow. And Dom, tell us about the scene in Adelaide. We've had a couple of other guests on from Adelaide, but not too many. Like, how would you describe the jiu-jitsu scene over there?
Oh, it's just growing. It's blowing up. It's getting bigger. The whole no-gi thing is really taking over. There's some amazing competitors up, like Nora is doing really well. Declan. It's heaps. It's just, getting bigger and bigger. And M16, they're putting on really good comps, really encouraging it. It's awesome to see.
So do your students also go there, compete there and that?
I give my students the option if they want to compete or not. And in all honesty, a lot of my students are more ages 30 and over. And a lot of them actually just want to come in and do jiu-jitsu for self-defense, fun, fitness. They don't want to compete. And so I try and just support that and give them that environment to grow.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got
if they want to compete, then we can.
I'm just Googling. There's this thing called changingthegameproject.com, and it's all about like how parents can be better sports parents. And now I'm a bit fascinated by that, man. So I'm really grateful that you've come on the show today and opened this up as something, because while we've talked about it, I don't think we've gone as deep down the rabbit hole with anybody as we have today, man. And I'm now like really inspired about like educating the parents as much as educating the kids out there to
absolutely.
Like, that's great, man.
You need to ask them, like, a lot of them when they join up, send them a form where like, these are the rules for your child, but these are also the rules for you as a parent to support your child. And you get the most out of it. Like a real common problem that we have is the kid will do the term, say they're doing 1 class a week, so that's 10 classes. They'll start to miss classes. And the parent doesn't contact us. The kid might be a teenager, might be going off with friends. So we'll follow that up. If they miss those classes, you need to tell us, communicate. We don't know where your kid is. We're the sole responsible one. Also, they fall behind. It's like school.
Yeah.
And if they fall behind, they'll lose that interest. It'll be too hard for them.
Like we're way more interested in things when we're good at them. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and this problem is across all sports as well. Like I really saw this. My son transferred into basketball for a while, and like that's even worse. You know what I mean? Like referees will quit refereeing because of the way that parents are towards their kids, and like they can't find enough referees now in basketball. And getting kids to stay in teams and getting kids to be team players is a whole new level to the game as well. So,
well, my daughter, she plays netball on Friday nights. And I go there and I watch, and just the way some of these kids are and their parents, it's honestly, it's like a scene from Seinfeld. It's just horrendous. Like they're running around, they're swearing, doing what they want. Kramer pops in, it's a whole.
Yeah.
It's just a circus at times.
It's absolutely great.
They need that guidance.
Have you got any tips, just quickly, you've only got a few minutes left, for any of our listeners who maybe teach kids classes as well, as to how they can manage the kids and have a successful kids program?
Yeah, absolutely. First one and foremost, you've got to be patient with them. Probably number 2 is have your rules set and be strong in them. But the way you back them up has to be fun at times and gentle. Like if you're yelling at the kid saying you can't do this, can't do that, make little jokes towards the child. You can help them that, say these are the rules, and show them the reward. If you do this, you're going to be really good later on. And the other one, the golden rule, keep parents away when you're teaching class. like legit. I'm totally legit on that.
Yeah.
We actually lock them out, not allowed to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're too distracting, or?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Like they'll try and talk to their kids. If they're not talking, they're trying to make hand gestures towards their kid. Kids going to have a drink, and they're like, you have something to eat. Like you keep them out of them. And then we have one day a month where the parents can actually come in and watch their kids train. So it sort of balances it out.
I love it, man.
So you're saying there's a lot of sort of helicopter parents around? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Encourage them to go in the street, get a coffee, do whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't want to. Often they want to stick around inside with you.
At the start they do, but once you're firm in your rules, you go out there and say, and you tell them nice.
Yeah. I love it, man. It makes a lot of sense. Most gyms set up viewing areas to watch the kids. And I think that, it sounds like, based on what you're saying, it could be a mistake. I think run a separate class at the same time called Parents Jiu-Jitsu and get the parents all doing Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep. You've got it.
I'm obviously not a helicopter parent because anytime I could drop my kids off, I'm out. You don't need to tell me to go and get a coffee. I'm already out the door.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why your divorce papers got signed so fast, Kim. You're out. Like, give me some agreements to sign. I'm ready.
That's me. Yes, that's me. We're nearly out of time, Dom. Thank you so much for giving up your time. Do you have any final words for our listeners? Any words of wisdom?
Oh, just keep doing what you love. You enjoy jiu-jitsu, it should actually shine through. You're only competing against yourself. You want to push yourself more, that's fine. Just do it forever. Yeah.
I love it, man. You're the best.
Nice.
Thank you so much for coming on today, bro.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listing those gis on Facebook Marketplace. I think it was Facebook. Or was it Gumtree? Can't remember.
I think it's Gumtree
I never have to buy a gi from you because that means I'm an A4. I've gone from A2 to A4. So I hope I never buy a gi
there you go.
from you, brother.
Thank you very much.
And
if you head over to Melbourne at all for any of the comps, we will see you there. But anybody that's traveling into Adelaide or from Adelaide wants to check it out, Integrity Jiu-Jitsu, that's where Dom is. Go check it out, and we'll see you on the mats.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Dom. Cheers.
See ya.